Hello and welcome to your Pingrip. Today's video is going to be a recreation of the Buran Energia spacecraft. And so as you can see here, we're launching, and first some quick information about this craft in Kerbal Space Program. First of all, yeah, it's a space shuttle. It doesn't fly well. In the description I'll have a link to a forum thread where it's going to have the .json of the craft file. And what you can do is you can copy that with Control-C, and then in the vehicle assembly building, press Control-V, and we'll paste the craft. Well, if you're going to fly this, use the SAS for the entire flight. And so for the first part of the ascent, I'm locking it to up and then to prograde. So to make it fly slightly better, I did clip some fins into the Energia, and also there's a bunch of reaction wheels on it. And you can see there how there's some of the liquid fuel RCS, which I actually don't need for this ascent, but if you need them, they're there. And once it's locked to prograde, you can basically just let fly to orbit by itself. So yeah, you need to detach the side boosters, which some words on those. So ideally in Kerbal Space Program, they should be 1.875 meter diameter, or really it would be closer to 1.9 meter diameter. And remember, this is Kerbal scale, so half of real scale. But 1.875 meter diameter parts aren't in Kerbal Space Program 2 yet, and neither are the correct engines, so yeah, the side boosters had to be a bit inaccurate. So I'll revisit this when those parts get added. So as we're continuing our ascent, and I wanted to make sure to get my apoapsis a decent amount, I wanted my apoapsis to be decently high, because otherwise, in testing I found that the craft would, basically, the burn time indicator on the maneuver would be way off, and just the maneuver, it would not put us on the trajectory that was plotted. Oh, and also, another thing with this, if you're gonna fly it, don't go to full throttle immediately, just gently throttle up. Because as you see here, when it first throttles up, it immediately starts to rotate, and if you go to full throttle immediately, it tumbles out of control. And I had to turn the RCS on. So now I'm just creating a maneuver to circularize our orbit. And now, here's some information about the actual Buran Energia. So, as you could see earlier, the Buran, it doesn't have the main engines on it. The main engines are on the Energia. This is because the Energia, it was its own independent rocket that could launch payloads other than Buran, which is a major difference between this and the US Space Shuttle. And Buran only had one flight, while Energia had 2 flights, one with Buran and the other with a different payload. And in both those occasions, Energia performed flawlessly. On its first flight with the other payload. The other payload, it pointed the wrong direction and deorbited itself. So with the Buran, that flight was completely successful. And something to note about the Buran is it did not need a crew on board for any point of its flight. So yeah, that Buran flight, that first one, and only one, was completely uncrewed. So I kind of skipped over, I didn't talk about some orbital maneuvering there, so we're about to deploy our payload, which is a space station module. And, well, my original plan for this would have been to do something with Mir 2 and do a recreation of that, but that would have taken way more time than I had available. So, well, with this, I just deployed the small space station, and the probe core on it doesn't have an internal antenna, so yeah, I had to get Kerbal to deploy the solar panels on it. So now that we've deployed the solar panels, my Kerbal can get back to the space shuttle. Well, we're on. And well, so I'm going to use some kind of unnecessary orbital maneuvers because, well, with this, I needed to ensure that there was as little fuel left in it as possible, because otherwise it would be tail heavy and impossible to fly. So I didn't really need to lower my orbit by this much, but I just wanted to burn the extra fuel. And something important I didn't mention earlier was the Buran. It has jet engines on it, so that during landing it doesn't just have to glide. It can do a powered flight. Which for my recreation, those small jet engines in Kerbal Space Program, they don't provide enough thrust for this thing to actually fly, and it's severely underpowered. So yeah, I clipped two larger jet engines into it, which yeah, sorry about that, but there's no other way I could get to work. So yeah, just lowering my orbit. And also, for most of this, so I have the RCS on, but you don't really need it, because there is a large reaction wheel inside the cargo bay. And yeah, I time warped for a few orbits while waiting for the Kerbal Space Center to get onto the daylight side of the planet. And there's a large reaction wheel in the cargo bay, so it actually can rotate pretty well. The Buran can rotate pretty well without needing RCS. Also, so with this, yeah, I said that I made that point about ensuring there's very little fuel left in it. Yeah, the fuel tank in the Buran starts half empty with this, though I have tested, and yeah, you can get to orbit with the fuel tank completely full, which I guess you could do that if you download the craft file and want to take it somewhere farther. Though I don't recommend doing that, since technically it does have the Delta V for a Duna flyby, but it's gonna be one way. And here's the thing. I haven't tested it going to another celestial body because it's not meant to do that. The heat tolerance on the wing parts is probably pretty high. I didn't check. So I guess you could try. Well, I guess you could try to go interplanetary, though I doubt you're going to be able to return back to Kerbin. But just keep that in mind if you download the craft file. Well, really, just use the craft file. And so, well, now, I kind of talked over some important bits there. But yeah, we've deorbited and we're now re-entering. Which, for this re-entry, I wanted to ensure that my impact marker stayed fairly close to the Kerbal Space Center. So I was just pitching up and down, again it as close as I could. Though towards the end of the re-entry, which like, I can't wait till they add the re-entry effects. I mean, like, the developers shared a screenshot of what the re-entry effects currently look like in testing, and they look great. So I can't wait to see that in game whenever that happens. I mean, they've already released the first update to Kerbal Space Program 2. It's probably gonna. They said it's gonna take till update 3 or 4 probably, or maybe even beyond, till the re-entry effects get added. So, just like, whenever the re-entry effects and 1.875 meter diameter parts, and I have the time for Mir 2, whenever all those things are present, I'll revisit this craft and this video. So I'm just doing my re-entry, trying to keep my trajectory close to Kerbal Space Center. At this point I have pitched up a lot, because I'm trying to slow down more. And fairly soon I'm gonna pitch up a bit too much, and that's gonna mean it's gonna go off to the side. And at this point I started panicking because I was worried it was gonna tumble out of control. So I immediately tried to get back to a pro grade. I also tried turning off SES, but that did nothing. So I got to a pro grade. And I kind of forgot I had set the SES to pro grade, so it's now back to stability lock. And so now we're just doing our final approach to the runway. Oh wait, this was the second attempt I did at trying to land this thing. Oh, and going a bit sideways there, so I activate the jet engines. On my first attempt to land this thing, I overshot the Kerbal Space Center, tried to land at the island runway, and crashed. With this attempt, spoiler alert, it's gonna go a lot better. So we're approaching. And I've deployed the landing gear. And I'm keeping a bit of throttle, like, on the jet engines. Now, I was trying to be extremely gentle with this landing because, like, I had done that previous attempt, and again, it didn't go well. I crashed. So I'm trying to land as soft as possible. There's really not much I can say here other than I'm just trying to land this. And anyway, I'm not good at flying planes in Kerbal Space Program. I'm just gonna say that. So it's actually really, I was really impressed with how good this landing actually went. Again, I probably should I'm gonna land successfully. I'm just gonna say that. And so, very gently, also very slowly I get the aircraft onto the ground, and at the last moment I realized I should have the brakes off because the brakes are extremely powerful, and in testing, what would happen with the brakes on is that would mean the nose would go crashing into the runway, and just the plane would end up on its, the craft would end up on its side. So I deployed that drag parachute. And it's gonna take a while to slow down because I probably could have turned down, like, the intensity of the brakes. But yeah, we're currently just slowing down with that drag parachute, though, at some points. I'll just turn the brakes on real quick. But yeah, this video is almost over. Just a few, like, just a bit longer, just rolling down the runway and almost to a stop. You see, like, and you saw how when I applied the brakes, that caused the craft to rock. But yeah, we completely come to a stop. So yeah, I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And goodbye.